Hey everyone, it's Jacket here. We got some Diablo 4 patch notes and I'm really excited to talk about them. They go through a ton of bug fixes for every single activity that we have had to offer up to this point, all the way including to buffing the drop for that world boss that we would fight during the Helltide, which was no one was even really complaining about, to my knowledge. We were worried that the patch notes wouldn't even drop today, even having 2 days worth of the maintenance. Let's say it's a pleasant surprise that it's even here for us to go through. I'm not going to go through every single one of these notes. I will put a link in the description for the patch notes so you can give them a read for yourself. And I know it's a hot topic, but I definitely wanted to give my thoughts on this. And before we get into all the patch notes, I just want to let you know about a few upcoming things. So, the Summoner Guide came out. It's pretty good, but I wanted to get some more footage for you guys so you guys can see true power of that and do like a higher greater riff, or not greater riffs in this game. They are the Nightmare Sigils. And so we'll have a revamp of that Summoner Guide. We'll have a bit more energy into it. We'll do more transitions to some gameplay so you can really see the power of that guide. We're going to have that hardcore Summoner Necro guide come out, so stay tuned for that as well. That will also include a pros and cons, as that is a large decision to make if you're going to play in hardcore. And I also wanted to do the journey through like a Summoner Necromancer of levels 1 to 15, 25, things of that nature. Breakdown. We'll do a little bit of a series on that to kind of give people an idea of where their head should be at if they wanted to attempt to play a Summoner Necromancer. It's going to take a little time. I'm currently playing Bone Spear right now, so let's get into these patch notes. Appreciate you listening. So we have some dungeon event and other activities that have gotten and received some some bug fixes. We have gotten some dungeon event and other activities where we have fixed an issue where certain whispers couldn't be completed. It's funny because we were running through the Helltide and this actually happened to us. We did run into one of the little ritual sites where its clickable spot was way far away, kind of like where like the death location on the minimap isn't exactly where it says it is for your partner if you're playing with someone and they died. So that was a little interesting, and I wanted to shout out that one. There were a bunch of gameplay fixes in here. Definitely take out a look at all of the important ones for your class. This one stood out to me. Fix an issue where corpse tendrils would cause the corpse visual to disappear. I did notice this, but the actual functionality was the corpse was still there because you can hover over it and still see that little outline for the corpse. I haven't done any local co-op, so it's important. Definitely take a look for yourself there. Quests. I don't know what any of the quests are still to this day. I have clicked to pick up the quest, ran to do the thing, and then ran back and turned it in. Sorry, that's just the way I game for a little bit. Maybe we can do a deep dive into some of the lore and whatnot later on in the lifespan of the content we do for this game. A lot of UI fixes. Very excited about this. These crucial. This is how we interpret the game. I love that they are working on making it much better for us. See their game and experience it truly. Scrolling down a little bit to the miscellaneous section here. Don't know if any of these really stood out to me. I don't remember. Nothing looks like it's too super cool. But again, we take all the quality of lives. There are a lot of notes here, so just definitely go through them. We're going to kind of go down to some of these general and gameplay adjustments. This is where we wanted to start talking about some things here. So, experience rewards for our gameplay adjustments. Significantly increase the experience awarded for completing a nightmare dungeon. This is true. When I was grinding out onto 100 on the Necromancer, we were getting like 10,000 experience at completion for like 104, for 110, 118, which is one of the higher ones I've done. And this is no joke. I completed a few 104s today, and it is 192,000 experience for a completion. That is almost 200% of an increase on that for that level 104. I don't know if it's 200% across the board, but it is insane. It is noticeable. and you definitely want to be getting into those nightmare dungeons. Significantly increase the experience gained from killing monsters in nightmare dungeons. So not only you're going to get a buff from completing it, you're going to get a buff from just doing it. This is also fantastic. The Helltide chest now provides substantially more bonus experience when opened. Helltides needed no adjustments, in my opinion. They were fun already. I'm happy we're seeing this here. Get in there and do some Helltide. It's more experience for you now. It's how you get Forgotten Souls. It's really important to be doing that if you wanted to farm near the end game and getting your character to max power. We have another note here that says significantly increased reward experience from completing individual whispers across the board. I was not a whisper guy. Did not enjoy this bounty system. I might engage with him more. We'll see how it works on the hardcore. I don't know the numbers previous to this because I didn't do very many of them, but looking pretty juicy now. So that's really, really good. Fix an issue where no experience was awarded for completing the holdout style event that can occur after finishing dungeon objectives. That's good. I have no qualms with that. Fixing issues is fantastic. You're saying that the roaming boss is now going to give more higher quality loot. That's good. We killed this guy in World Tier 3 and 4 many, many times, and it was nowhere near anything. Now it looks like it's about the Butcher quality, where it drops at least one legendary per person. Players can now teleport to their Nightmare Dungeon directly through the map. This is a huge change. The speed at which I was doing Nightmare Dungeons earlier today, and on any streams that you've seen, anyone else, it's not night and day. It's not comparable. There's not a percentage number I would feel comfortable to put on this change in terms of efficiency. This is an inefficient way to progress the game, really, just play in general. And with this one change, this feels fantastic. I was tired earlier today. I needed to take a nap. I eventually got around to taking a nap, but I did like 10 nightmare dungeons because it was the blink of an eye. I was already back into the action. I'm so happy about this change. This change is going to change the entire way you interact with this game. It's so good. And then weekly bonuses from world bosses no longer have a level requirement. This is fantastic. You never want to have a level requirement on this. You want people out there doing the world bosses. If we can get a spawn timer or like an increased spawn rate of the world bosses, that'd be really cool. Especially because they're capped anyways. Like since they're capped, the harm of just letting people kill the world boss, right? People can kill it as many times as they want, or just get the rewards. So, and we get into some juicy changes here. This is balance changes for all of the classes, and this is honestly, I thought these 5, 6 bullet points were amazing. This is really where a lot of people are going to have struggle with some of these patch notes, because development note is important here, and we'll touch on the development note and we'll get into all of these changes. So the developer note states, we continue our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful. Another round of balance updates. In particular, we have seen community feedback stating that basic skills aren't impactful enough to combat. These changes will not change the fundamental relationship between basic and core skills, but we hope that they help smooth out the leveling experience while we explore additional ways to strengthen them. We are also increasing the power of some skills that players feel are lagging behind their peers as we look forward to the future of updates. Monitoring other heavily discussed topics such as minion survivability and build parity. Please keep sending us your feedback. We'll see you in Sanctuary. Alright, so with that being said, let's get into some of these changes. I'm really only versed in a lot of the Necromancer stuff. I want to branch out into these other classes, but I've kind of been taking my time, really trying to become a master of one of the classes first before we move into something else. So I'm going to start with the Necromancer notes. Skills. Reap. Base damage increased from 12% to 13%. This is the base damage of all of your weapons. So whatever your weapon says that they can do, they're going to do a percentage of that amount. Acolyte Reap's cooldown between corpses reduced from 5 to 4 seconds is an overall good change. Reap was a very good skill regardless, and it's a great way to get an instant corpse should you need something like that. Decompose base damage from 30 to 33%. Base essence generation per second increased from 7 to 8. Corpses formed frequency increased from 2.5 to. Used this skill a lot during the campaign. A little bit after that as well too. I'm not gonna lie. You used decompose a lot. It said minion on it. We had to take it for quite a while. So my thoughts on this is it's about a 10% increase of the overall skill. 10% of 30 is 3. So it's a pretty good buff. I don't really think I ever used it for its damage, and I don't think that any of these changes for damage are going to really put a dent in how they feel. I really think it's all the additional effects that these things can do are really where it's going to come from. And I think between this Reap change, allowing you to create a corpse faster, create a corpse from Decompose as well, and then having more essence is good. The less time we have to spend pressing these buttons, I think is going to be better for the overall gameplay, because in my opinion, the goal of a lot of these endgame builds is to kind of get rid of these. Have infinite essence regen, or fury regen for barbarian, or energy regen, and then remove these builders in general. So moving on, hemorrhage base damage increased from 25 to 27%. Essence generated increased from 8 to 9. Again, overall good. Bone splinters got a little bit of a damage buff and a little bit of essence generation buff, so that's also good. Sever's initial base damage increased from 63 to 66%. This is like a half a percent increase. And a half a percent, a 5% increase. Enhanced Sever's return damage is increased by 15%. This is amazing. This might make Sever be really good again for darkness builds. You can put points in Blight and Sever with this, and you can use the aspect that allows Sever to do more damage and spawn a Blight. That'll be really cool. And I am working on a darkness build, so that might be something we can throw in there now and change up some of the points. Supernatural Bloodlance overpower requirement reduced by 2 casts. This is amazing. Hopefully Blood gets some more tuning and we can actually start using it. Bone Prism, cooldown reduced from 20 to 18 seconds. Dreadful Bone Prison's Fortify increased from 5 to 8. Don't really like Fortify right now in its current state for Necromancer, so that is what it is, but that's fine. Take all the buffs we can get. Iron Maiden base damage increased from 10 to 20%. This is a huge buff. Horde Iron Maiden damage bonus increases from 15% to 20%. Corpse Tendrils. Blighted Corpse Tendrils have a chance to spawn a Blood Orb, increase from 30% to 35%, which is good. It's a 5% increase. We already are using this. This just makes it better. Bone Spike's base damage increase from 80% to 120%. Ray Skeleton and Golem minions will now always engage targets with a cast curse. So that means when you cast a curse, they are going to actually attack the targets. This is huge. I was almost always recommending to start off a fight and engagement with a curse. It gives them the damage reduction that you want, so this is huge. Milan's Edict. Damage taken duration requirement reduced from 3 to 2 seconds. This is amazing. This means this is going to be up even more so, especially when you're standing by your mages, as I made a recommendation in my summoner build guide, so make sure you take a look at that as well. This is going to be huge and getting that attack speed up. Wrathma's Vigor, healthy duration requirement reduced from 15 to 12 seconds. Fine. This means we'll get that attack speed faster. Spiked Armor, Thorns increase from 0.8, 0.16, 0.24 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. This means we get more Thorns when we select that passive, which is fun. Legendary Aspects, Bursting Bone. Flat damage increase from 0.022 to 0.3. 0.03, I'm sorry. And this is to 0.045 to 0.06. So this is a tiny amount. I don't know if we'll ever be using this at all. There's so many other good aspects that this is important. Flesh Rending, Essence Gain increase from 10 to 20 to 20 to 40. This is really good. Still, it's one of those things that I don't know if we'll ever be using because there are so many other good things to use, and we need a lot of defense. And then Fast Blood Ultimate Cooldown reduction increased from 0.5 to 1 to 1 to 1.5. This is really good. Again, this is going to go on a ring. The rings are highly contested for Necromancer right now. So we'll see where that may lie in it, because the ultimate skills are kind of mid. So I'm going to stop the video here. Again, I don't know too much about the other classes. Definitely read. I'll have the link again in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.